To prevent fatal injuries in football, I have invented this new type football helmet, which I believe will do much to rid the game of fatalities.
Dark side, light this bitch up.
What it do, what it do. Leather Helmets family, what is poppin'? We are here. Another great night on Leather Helmets TV, man. What's going on, family? We got a pretty solid show tonight. The homie AC on his way to DR, getting ready to be on the beach in some warm weather with a cocktail in his hand. So shout out to him, enjoying the vacation, enjoying time with his lovely wife. That is why he is not here this week. But we're going to get it in, and you know how we do. Cheers to the family. Woo! We're going to get right into it. So we're going to jump right into basketball. It ain't really much to talk about NBA-wise. The NBA playoffs are coming to a close with the finals coming up here, but we have the T-Wolves and the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Mavs jumped up 3-0 in that series, as everybody know. Ant and them boys showed up last game on, what was that, Monday and or Tuesday, and got a win, forcing the game 5 here. They should be kicking off about 8:30, so they can either be going home or they can go, get another victory and take it back to Dallas. We shall see. I think they can come back. I think it's all dependent on Cat. He's been shooting terrible, pretty much the whole playoffs. And seeing Ant go to the rack a little bit more. Those are some of the things that I think are going to be needed for them to stay alive in this game. Kyrie and Luka been playing very well together. It hasn't really been anything crazy. It's just that the T-Wolves, in my opinion, have just been playing that bad. So I think they'll win tonight. I think Dallas closes it out in Game 6. Because if they don't close it out in Game 6, I don't see them winning a Game 7. So I feel like they have to close it out in Game 6, I should say. What do you guys think as far as that Dallas Minnesota series goes? Many thought it was over. Many thought it was going to be a sweep. I knew it was. I knew they were going to at least get one game. And here we are now with a chance for them to get their second game tonight and forcing that Game 6, in which I think the pressure is then solely put back on Dallas at that point. I feel like they have to close it out in Game 6. It can't come back to Minnesota for a Game 7. Let me know what you guys think. I know we got some Dallas fans, Dallas Maverick fans in the chat. Many people picked Dallas and people laughed at them. But yeah, they got a good chance of heading to the finals right now to face the Celtics. And I really think the Celtics are beatable. I think either one of these two teams can beat the Celtics. So the Celtics are beatable, especially if Tatum. The way Jaylen Brown, it's funny, I'm about to contradict myself. The way Jaylen Brown played that last series when he was attacking and scoring, I feel like they should win the title. But again, which one of those guys are going to decide that they are the guy come the finals? Is it going to mesh together like it did in the last couple of series? They haven't really played anybody in the East either. You know, all the East teams have been out of their star players, but they did what they had to do. Played the least amount of games in the playoffs, and you know they're chilling right now, waiting until at latest next Thursday before they'll be playing again. So, shout out to the Celtics. Shout out to any Celtics fans. Big game tonight. Dallas, Minnesota, game 5. Dallas trying to close this thing out so they can get ready and go to the finals. WNBA, my girls just kicked off. My Sky just kicked off. It's been some good games, man. If you guys are not watching, you should, because it's been some real good basketball over in the W. Caitlin dropped 30 the other night. My girl Reese dropped a double-double. You know, it's been some big time basketball getting played over there. So give it a go, man. Check it out if you can. But you know why we're here, man. We're gonna get into this NCAA 25. A lot of information dropped for this NCAA 25. One of the big things that dropped, we were waiting to figure out how they would do the online dynasty. As you see, you know the normal format for how we do things. We usually go NBA, we usually go NFL. You know what? It's just me tonight. We getting right to what we came to talk about. And let me see if my guy's joining me here still. But let's see. But like I was saying, you know, we instead of getting into that, we're going to jump right into what we here for. And the online dynasty is only 32 teams, and I'm sure it's using the same format as the Madden with the 32 teams. And hopefully in the future, I mean, this is the first with this comeback. This is the first time that they're dropping it, so they probably wanted to make sure they use something stable. And the 32 man connected franchise has been stable and used for past years. I think Dynasty when in 14 was 8 teams, if I'm not mistaken, when it closed down. So going from 8 teams to 32 is a big jump. And plus with the amount of stuff that we're going to talk about that's in Dynasty, getting it right, doing it right is the number one thing that I think they should have focused that they will focus on. So I'm happy with the 30. I'm happy at least we got 32. That way we can, you know, have a pretty good season. 32 different college teams is going to be amazing. There is no crossplay. I was a little disappointed when I got that information the other day, but more and more I thought about it. Get the game right. You know, focus on all the things right for, you know, we've been playing Xbox versus Xbox this entire time. Crossplay is something new. I haven't even really got into any crossplay because our league we would have had to start over to implement crossplay. So I wasn't even tripping about that. So I was like, whatever, you know. So like the more and more I thought about it, you know what, get the game right, get the servers right. Maybe they'll add it with a patch or upgrade or something like that, like they did with Madden. But either way, I'm fine with it not being in there. Yeah, no crossplay. Custom conferences are back. And what I mean by custom conferences, you can now like recreate the Pac-12. You can't make up your own conference. Like it can't be, you know, like Death Row West, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. But you can recreate the Pac-12. Like if we got 32 users and we want to make sure that every conference has users in it to limit the computer games, we can do that now. So that's going to be big. The customization is going to be something that we get to talk about a little bit tonight. But speaking on gameplay, there was a bunch of people that they flew down to the EA headquarters, and you know they were able to play the game. And all the feedback that I got, you know, that the videos I've watched, that I've, you know, read on YouTube and, you know, seen on Twitter and things like that, it's all been positive stuff coming out about the game, and that's got me even more excited. because the gameplay from what I'm hearing, I posted the video in the chat of one of the guys, Eric Rayweather, who always has good information for the community. The game is faster, and he reiterated that the game is a lot faster. It's a college. It gives you the college football feel. Like if you remember back in the day, the college football game always felt a little more sped up than the Madden game, and you feel the difference between the star players and the regular players in the college football game versus the Madden game. So. So we can join in. Sorry, yeah, but you would feel the difference, and apparently that's what you can feel in this game. So the differences in the gameplay, there's a ton of new animations. Obviously, the 1 foot in is the main thing, which is something that is a college rule. In NFL, you only need you need 2 foot in college. You need 1 foot in. So you're gonna see a lot of 1 foot animations. The options and the RPOs are going to be monsters for this game. So expect that. Expect the fast mobile quarterbacks to be really really coveted in this game. So if you guys were thinking about team selection and how you want to build your team, think about stuff like that. I'm thinking of the long game when it comes to building a team, because you got to think we get through about 10 seasons of Madden, which is 17 games, 18 weeks. Then you got playoffs and off season. In college, it's only 12 games, so we're getting through seasons a lot faster. So you're going to turn over rosters a lot faster. You got to think about NIL. You got to think about transfer portal. You got to think about all these things that come into factors when you're building your team as to how you want to, go about selecting your team. A lot of people, when you hear about it in the chat a lot. I like to go for the small schools and then build them from a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, all the way to a 5, 6-star program. And that's the fun part of the game, playing the long game. And you can do that in this game, obviously. But the skill gap, the star players will feel like star players in this game. So that's something to think about. I'm going to flip screens here and bring up what I wanted to bring up. So if you're looking over here, you'll see some of the things, like, again, a lot of stuff that we don't really care about. I used to play Road to Glory, but now with all my attention focused on online dynasties and connected franchise, I don't know how much of the Road to Glory I'm going to do. I'm definitely not going to do Ultimate Team. I don't play that. Road to College Football Team Builder. Now this is something that's interesting to me. When you think about team selection and stuff like that, will we? Hold on 1 second. I got my guy here. Let's bring him in. Screen, can you hear me? You're muted. Let's unmute you here. Can you hear me, brother? I can't hear you if you are saying something. Can anybody hear him? I can't hear him. Anyway, we'll see. We'll figure out the audio here with Scream. But he was joining me to talk some college football. But as of right now, we can't hear him. So the team builder, like I was saying, I think that's going to be something to think about. Do you go 32 custom builds teams and everybody start at this? Because think about Madden here. When we started college football, when we started Connect the Franchise. Oh, I hear something. That you, Scream? I thought I heard something in the background there. But when we start to connect the franchise, we always go we go with a creative coach to level the playing field instead of going with the big time coaches. That way, everybody has a chance to start from scratch and build their team up. That's kind of the same thing you can do with the team builder function. They're saying team builder is the most customizable game, the most customizable feature in an EA Sports game in its history, with over 120 different customizations, over 120 different styles of teams that you can put together to the point where no one team will look like the other. I think that's huge. I remember creating the teams back in the day when you can create the practice facility, you can create the stadium, mascots, all that different type of stuff, and then everybody. I hear you. I heard something.
Okay, I just want to make sure it worked now because my Discord been tweaking for some reason and I don't know why.
What's going on, brother?
Chilling, man. Just got home, just pull up to the chat, man. Ready to talk about some NCAA, man.
Well, I don't know if you've been tuning in to what I was talking. I just started talking about the team builder function. I talked about Online Dynasty. I didn't know if you had anything to add in there. 32 teams, no cross play, custom conferences, things like that, are some of the things that I've touched on. What do you think so far with the little bit of news that we got from the game about Online Dynasty?
I'm cool with no crossplay. I'd rather them get it right year one and figure out things and get the bugs out the way. I don't think it's a big deal, but everybody's always going to say it's 2024. Every other game got crossplay, but every other game also has better resources. We can't really compare a EA to like a Activision. We can't compare a EA, for me personally, like a Bungie and Destiny 2. You know what I'm saying? So I think this year it's okay, no crossplay. Next year, just figure it out. They'll be good. I heard you talk about the Pac-12 being reinvented and recreated. I think that's great. I guess I got a question for you. You as the owner of Leather Helmets and the head commissioner. Do you guys think that you're going to limit the conferences, or like how are you going to kind of shape the rules for the league? Being, again, we talked about it before in the chat. It's 12 game seasons. CFP is involved. Like, how do you think that'll work out and map out as far as a league goes for NCAA?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I kind of briefly mentioned. You want to figure out a way with only 32 teams. What is it? 164 eligible colleges. So
right,
there's going to be some fluff in there. So you want to make it to the point where everybody's playing everybody. And do you want to limit it to, hey, we're all going to be in these three conferences, or we're all going to be here, or like, because again, it's 32 teams, and you want to make it so hopefully there's no CPU games, but if there are going to be CPU games, very, very little. Because if you think about it, in real life college football, when Alabama goes and plays, Waldorf State in Massachusetts, that's kind of like a CPU game in real life. You know what I'm saying? Those out of conference games are so lopsided that if somebody did have to play a computer user, there would be a rule about game has to be streamed, no super sim, stuff like that has to be applied at that point in time. What do you think? You're like a ambassador when it comes to like the leagues. Like you give out gems here and there, and you ran a few leagues in your time. Going into this, like nobody really has. I don't even have a rule book put together yet for college football. So I'm kind of like building this thing on the fly. You hear me say that about the 32 teams and all the teams that are available outside of the 32. What are some of your ideas, or what are some of the things you think would work best?
The first thing I think about, like we said with the custom conferences, one thing we know about the NFL, that's a beautiful thing, is that with 32 teams, there are 16 teams in each conference. And my first immediate thought is if you use 4 of the Power 5 conferences and created your own Power 4 and you split 8 users to those 4 conferences. They can pick whatever team they want or whatever the case may be, but you just go with 4 custom conferences and put 8 users in each conference, however they want to be put there.
Right.
And that way, assuming it works out well enough to where somebody does good enough from each conference, that's your CFP right there. But again, we don't know. We don't have the game right in front of us. So if you got one person to represent each conference in the CFP, you got a 4-user playoff series. So you have 2 good semifinals that can be commentated, whether, me, Snipes, or whoever else. Then you have your final game. It just works beautifully if you do 8 people per conference. But people are picky, like you mentioned. Me personally, I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan, so if I was to join, I'd be the Hurricanes. I'd probably be fighting for other people for it.
Yeah,
but
that's a fact.
You got to kind of pick your poison and think. How can you divide up the conferences? And would you rename them? Would you keep the ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12? Are those your 4 conferences? It kind of depends on how the users feel too a little bit. You got to kind of get their input. Yeah. But I think what most leagues may do is going to be focus on 4 conferences, 8 users per, and then that's it. Like, you can pick whatever team you want. Mm-hmm. If somebody want to pick North Dakota State and be weird, by all means. But just know you're getting lumped into a Power 4. And that might be the best option you got because it allows you to play other users. You'll know what your conference looks like on a year-to-year basis, and you get more user versus user games compared to those easy CPU wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 4 conferences, 8 users. I like that a lot. Because that makes a lot of sense. And you mentioned like renaming of the conferences. They did say that you cannot make new conferences. You cannot you can shift and redo conferences. You can't change the Pac-12 is Pac-12. All those are going to be what it is. So what do you think about this? I was talking about this right before you joined. The team builder function. You know how when we started Connect the Franchise, most leagues you got to start out with a custom coach, and we all know the reason everyone starts out with a custom coach because everybody starts out at the same playing field. As a team builder, you'd start out as whatever how many. So let's say we all start out as 1-star schools. What do you think about implementing something like that, or you think that's just that's asking too much of the users and taking away the ability or the fun to be able to play with your alma mater or your favorite team?
Nah, I don't think that takes the fun out. I think that gives a more immersive experience and it makes the team feel more like yours, kind of like Madden, Right. Just because you're a Cowboys fan, right? I'm a Falcons fan. If everything, the chips fell where they may, we would take our favorite teams and build them in our image. NCAA is the exact same thing. You're going to pick your school, build it up, do what you got to do to make it in your image. I think that's actually a really good idea. I don't foresee any issues with that. I think people are just very picky and just like, oh, I'm an Alabama fan. No, I don't want to create my own team.
Right.
Certain people going to be sticklers about it and, be annoying about it. But for league's sake, creating your own team puts everybody on the playing field because at that point, it becomes about your skill. They have mentioned that there are certain abilities in the game. It's not like X Factors or whatever, but if everybody started from ground zero, I think it eliminates the room to complain about, oh, well, your team's already stacked because you picked this school. Everybody started from zero. So I think that actually is a great idea.
Yeah, so that was one of the main things that I wanted to talk about, like when I started talking about the actual the game itself and how we would proceed as far as like building the league is the team builder function, because the more and more I read about team builder, 120 different customizations, like customizable options, creating your school, creating your stadium, mascot, down to the mascot screen. So, it can really be immersive to the point where it feels 100% like your own. And if you want to, model it after your favorite team, you almost can in that aspect. Right. So, and then, at that point we can divvy up the 8 users per 4 power conferences. And we go with the major ones, the Big 12, the SEC, the Big 10, and the Big 12. Did I say Big 12 twice? I think I said Big 12.
You probably meant Big 10, but
Big 10.
I think you gotta. I think you got a great point with that because ultimately, as a team builder, as a fantasy player, our biggest idea is always we want a team in our image.
Yeah.
And that's a selling point whether users come back or not. Here you have a chance to build a team in your image from scratch. Join us. That's a selling point no matter how you look at it for multiple leagues. There's gonna be dudes that come in and join the Leather Helmets chat from multiple different leagues, like, oh, my league isn't doing this. I know you guys are. I want in. And there may be some users in Leather Helmets who are not gonna play NCAA. So you do kind of feel that back end in with new people. So I think that's a good selling point for sure. And with the customizable options, the Tigers is like always a good point to use. I think Missouri's the Tigers, Auburn, as well as LSU. So you're gonna see some reusables.
Yeah.
But they may have different colorways. So if you want to have 4 different Tigers teams, but one is in Bengals colors, one is in LSU colors, by all means, have fun. I just think as long as people commit and have fun, then everything will be fine. People just got to remember to have fun first and stop taking things so serious, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, so one of the things people were asking me, hey, am I creating a new server? And I had originally thought to do that because I thought it was going to be more than 32 teams. Finding out it's only 32 teams, I will keep the NCAA chat within our Leather Helmet server. But anybody that's in the NCAA, only the people that are in the NCAA league can view the chats that will be for NCAA. Just to keep it clean, keep the server clean for the users that aren't playing NCAA and make it a more enjoyable server and things like that. So
That definitely makes sense.
yeah, I mean, I didn't really feel like there was a need to create another chat. So I've already made the Kings of the. It's called in the league will be called the Kings of the Gridiron, or Kings of the Grid, Kings of the Gridiron, however you wanna pronounce that. So let's talk about you mentioned the X factor, or it's not even really like X factor. It's just like the good players you'll be able to notice them on the football field. So I'm gonna bring up the site here. I got it right here. So sorry. So you talk about the game. I guess it's called the Campus IQ, which is like the feel for the game. And like you remember how the one game that I thought got the momentum right, the college momentum experience right. Remember NCAA basketball, EA Sports NCAA basketball?
Yeah, with Blake Griffin on the cover. We need that back too, by the way. That right there, like EA has a gold mine full of games that they could bring back. I'm still advocating for NFL Street to come back because
NFL
imagine
Street
that.
has to come back. Yeah.
Bro, that's selling millions and they just sitting on IPs they not even using, man. I don't understand it.
But like just the atmosphere, like when you were playing in Cameron Indoor, it felt like you were playing in Cameron Indoor. And kind of you got that same feel from NCAA 14. Like when you were on the road in Death Valley, like it felt like you were in there. What I don't want to see is just a copy and paste of the Madden home field advantage, which I think is severely broken. But one of the things that, the guys that played the game, one of the things they were saying about the home field advantage is, like, if your player's composure is down, like, you got a low, like, we got like awareness and things like that on Madden, composure is something that if it's low, your player won't play well in those type of atmospheres. Like you got to build, you got to build that. You got to build that composure up. And another big thing is the wear and tear system. So it's not even like, how like fatigue happens and like or like when we train, weekly training, the guy has a little bit of stamina. Like in game, they're yellow and you got to sit them. No, this wear and tear system is like an accumulation of hits and usage throughout the season to the point where like you may have to sit this guy for the whole game because if you play him and continue to play him, he's going to wind up getting himself hurt and being out for extended period of time.
Right.
So I think that's great. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like if you play RPGs like I play RPGs, you can't overuse your super strong weapons just to kind of plow through the game. You got to be strategic on when you use certain things because if you overuse it, you lose it. Kind of kind of like
Right.
how that would play out. So I do like that. So like the fatigue and managing your players week to week, on the field, off the field, is going to be key. You can do a lot more. When I'm reading here, you can do a lot more on pre-snap and recognizing the plays. The more skilled the player, the more tenured the player, the better they are at those things. So I think, having that 5-star player who's a freshman and you want to get him out there because his attributes are all nice, it's a risk reward with doing that. So
Yeah, I think that's kind of where those CPU games kind of help certain folks, because if you're able to, like, oh, you're playing an FCS school, not an FBS school, I'm gonna bench my star player, give him some rest so that when it comes time for the
Bingo.
playoff, he can play better. Or if I know I'm playing a really good user, we love to highlight, the JaVales, the Gonzes, even though you try to, undermine yourself, you know what I'm saying? When you play those users that have the skill and mindset of football, you got to play strategic against them. I think that's something you got to add, no matter how you look at it. So I think that they're trying to add strategy back into the football game through
Right.
CFB, see how it feels, and then maybe they'll implement some of those things in Madden next year. I think this year is really just being used as a test run to see how 26 can go for both games, which is a good thing, truthfully, because a lot of people in the community have like very high expectations. It's been 11 years
it's been a long time
since
man.
we've seen a game. You know what I'm saying? That's a literally, like, we've all had kids in the last 11 years, most of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you look at an 11-year-old that's never played CFB, but just like, oh, I love football, let me learn what this is about.
Yeah.
You got to kind of take these baby steps and give people certain situations. You can't just give them NCAA 14 part 2. So I think that the strategy is going to matter most, and certain people are going to figure it out before others. And that's what's going to separate users as far as skill and strategy go.
So I didn't talk about the MUT factor. Do you see guys playing this college football MUT as much as they played the Madden MUT? I mean, it's kind of a tough question to ask because I felt like college football was strong because of Dynasty. Like, I didn't really think there would be a place for the online MUT or the MUT community when it comes to college football. So I don't know, man. I'm on like a wait and see with that. It's gonna be too toxic for me. I'm not gonna be playing it. But what do you think?
I think it depends on a couple of factors. The biggest factor, number one, is how do college legends factor into the NCAA? I don't know if they're going to call it FUT or MUT. I don't know what their ultimate team system will be called. But I think it really depends on how the legend factor appears, because we know when you play MUT, you can get like, the Herschel Walkers, the Night Train Lanes, Jason Taylor, all those legends that went through the NFL and their respective legendary team. So you have those different kind of aspects. So imagine, and we know Reggie Bush has got his Heisman back.
That's what I was thinking
Imagine
about.
if it's a 99 Reggie Bush card
Oh
and
my
everybody
God.
has that, you know what I'm saying? And then you look at Vince Young. So if you
Vince
get
Young.
a 06 Vince Young card and a 05 Reggie Bush card in the backfield for your offense, that's a selling point for certain people, because it's like, damn, I get to relive my childhood a little bit or relive my fandom. I think it depends on how the legend cards work as far as people playing it a lot,
Yeah.
compared to like, Jalen Milroe, even the rookies right now, if Blake Corum is available. Denard Robinson, really not a legend necessarily, but he was a cover athlete, so he's got to get some shine, right?
He was
You
a
know what I
legend
mean?
on that college football, though. That's a fact. He was.
That is true. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, Jadeveon Clowney, you got to think, how do the legend factors play into the ultimate team situation? That's going to be the ultimate problem early on. Because, when Madden drops, there's always somebody that already got the best card in the game.
Yeah.
And they're going to be selling it for 200 plus K coins or whatever the case may be. So I think it just depends on how they do the legend cards compared to the current NIL deals with the players right now. Because me personally, right now, I don't know who the best quarterback in college football is. Caleb, Bo, and all them just left. So right now, I think Carson Beck names comes up, Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning, Jalen Milroe. They all come up in that top 5 area right now. But there might be other quarterbacks out there that are just as good. We don't know if throw power in this game is the same as it's going to be in Madden.
Right,
We don't know how the game plays yet. I've seen them all doing the tweets that tomorrow we get a gameplay deep
We do.
dive, so that's going to be very interesting to read and keep up with.
That's
I
I mean,
think it depends on how the gameplay goes first,
Yeah.
before we know how Ultimate Team rocks.
Yeah, I had that in my news that the trailer does drop tomorrow, the deep dive, and they're going. Like I said, a lot of people have already played this game, and a lot of people walked away extremely happy with the game, and they said it does not feel like a cut and paste Madden. It feels like a completely different game, and that's what I want to hear because from NCAA to Madden back in the day, it always felt like a different game to me. The recruiting aspect, the gameplay. The game was always faster than Madden because Madden was a slow, methodical, build your guy. Pro style game. NCAA was always wide open, option, and things like that. One of the things that I hope with Travis Hunter being a cover athlete, the two-way player, the ability to be able to play on both sides of the ball, type. How you can scout these athletes. They didn't really have like a QB designation or wide receiver designation. They were designated as the top 5 athlete. So I'm hoping that those people, you can play them on both sides of the ball seamlessly, but then you run into that wear and tear factor. So it's even more strategy that will be involved in NCAA, man. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, because at some point, like you just said, like Travis Hunter, you have to make a decision on him as, is he on offense or is he on defense? And you got to go from there. I do think, and the creators have said this, it does hurt just a little bit that you can't push the draft classes out.
Yes.
But it's not, and this is what I dislike. It's not EA's fault they can't push the draft class. The NIL is now at fault because it's like, okay, you're paying these athletes. They can't sign a contract to give their likeness to Madden until they actually hit the league. We just seen the big deal with Marvin Harrison not signing with the NFLPA for like a whole freaking month after the draft. So now it's like, all right, people still have to create the draft classes in Madden whenever it comes out in August. So it's a stupid complaint, but it's like, I get it. You miss the old features that you're used to. So I think they'll get over it fast though, man.
Yeah, like I said, to kind of wrap this thing up. Like I said, if my biggest complaint is crossplay when this game drops, I take that as a W. I don't know about you. I take that as a big W.
No, I agree.
So
I think crossplay is the most minuscule problem in this entire situation. Because for me, like you said with RPEs, I play Destiny a lot. Yeah. You can turn crossplay off and just not deal with the PC community or PS community at all. Like I can just play with Xbox folks if I want to, or just PC folks. It's not that big of a deal.
And the thing, one of the things like that, I haven't played in a crossplay league, but I've played in tournaments since I haven't played. We were involved in tournaments that had PlayStation and PC users, and they just don't respect the because I feel like the Xbox side of the online connected franchise community is way bigger than any other side, and it's just because it's been the format's been there, the stability's been there for the longest when it comes to connected franchise. So these guys don't respect the format and the structure that we bring to what we do. So when the rule book is in place, they're like, what's this? So it's like, you would have that would be something you'd have to train a PlayStation user, and we've done that over the years with all of our Xbox users. Like guys come into leagues, even if they've never been in your league, they kind of got an outline on how most leagues run, so it's easy to transition into different leagues when you're dealing with Xbox users. So I'm not mad at that. Boz says no important draft classes like old. Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that. So.
I mean, it's like we just talked about it, Bodge, but the reason behind it is because of the NIL deals. Now that there's money involved with these young athletes and the sponsorship deals they're signing and stuff like that, they represent themselves. And because there's no players association for college, there's no real contract. There's no real, collective bargaining agreement behind NIL. So they can't sign an NFL deal to be having their likeness put into Madden, unfortunately. Maybe in the future it'll happen depending on how the NIL stuff works out. But that's very unfortunate because but again, we're used to NCAA 14 having to go download a roster with all the correct names compared to just Johnny Manziel being number 2 type deal. You know what I mean?
But I'm happy that they're taking all precautions to avoid any lawsuits, to avoid anything like that, because we just getting this game back. I don't want to come next year. Oh, it can't come out because now we're in court because of blah, 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 blah. Take precautions, do it right, get the paperwork right, get all the legality stuff right, and put out a good game every year. That's all we want.
Yeah, consistency is all we've been asking for forever. And if you can provide that, we're happy. If you can't provide that, well, why the hell can't you?
Yeah, and it sucks because when it comes to Madden, like you're able to just get away with just putting. I wouldn't even say like just putting low quality product out year after year. In my opinion,
minimum.
In my opinion, the game has played so much better year over year, but to have some of the bonehead things that we find as problems in the game that we found, it's just unexcusable because you've got the gameplay down. For the most part, the gameplay is cool. It's just like the little things, like you're taking away some of the things that were back in Madden 06. Like why is something that was in 06 you don't have it in 24 and it was working well? And that's what I was worried about going from NCAA 14 to now NCAA 25. What are you shaving away to get this game out? But from what I'm hearing, it's all there plus more, and I'm excited about that, dude. So, before I get you out of here, we got a big game. You're calling myself versus Diesel and the Chargers. I know you don't. I know you calling it. I mean, do you have any insight or anything that to speak on about the game before we get into it?
What's interesting is, and I showed you in DM earlier what we're working on to bring to the league graphic wise. It's interesting because both of you guys are in the hunt on your respective conferences. I believe in my notes that I've written out right now, you guys are both in the hunt for the playoffs. Diesel's currently 5-4 with the Chargers. You're currently 4-5 at the 8 seed. He's the 9 seed over there. And big shout out to Bodge. He whooped on Chop, like smoked him. So Bodge is still holding that 5 seed strong right now in the AFC. You're trying to fight to get up there with AC for the 7 seed right now. So I really think this is a game that'll tell the tale for both of your seasons because both of you are trying to fight for a playoff spot. It's only week 11. There are 7.5 weeks left pretty much. This can either make or break either of your seasons. So I know both of you guys are going to fight for the W. I don't know. I don't have a prediction on who's going to win, but I know both of you guys are smart Madden users. Yeah, so I'm expecting a very strategic game. I don't think it's either going to be very high scoring, but close, or it's going to be very defensive and a field goal is going to win this game. It just really depends on how you both play defense versus each other tonight.
Yeah, one of the things that I was looking at the game of the week pick'ems, and I was looking at these over unders, and I'm like, I don't know what type of offense y'all think gonna be out here, but I'm looking at it, and that's just respect to Diesel. You know what I mean? I just don't. I'm not saying that my defense is the best ever. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really give up too many big plays. I gotta make the mistakes for you to score, a bunch of points. But like he also is stout when it comes to defense. So I was just looking at it like, oh, all these overs. I'm like, I feel like it's an all under kind of game for us. You know what I mean? But both guys, I think we're both going to bring it tonight. I think that's why I picked the game. It wasn't anything other than me trying to, get a game on the screen for the night. You know how we do, man. We just try to get something going, keep things active, keep the morale up in the chat and stuff like that. So I think we'll be able to show up for you and give you something good to call for tonight, man.
Yeah, I mean, and then being at this point in the Madden season, we're going into June come Saturday. A lot of leagues are probably going to fizzle out. I don't know how you guys are going to do, whether this season or year 42, another season and stuff like that. I know they were talking in the chat earlier about a lot of force wins happen this season. I don't attribute that to like people not wanting to play. Life just happens in the summertime. You know what I mean?
Vacations.
Yeah, like like me, I was gone for like a full freaking week. You know, my wife's birthday is freaking the week of Mother's Day. So Mother's Day time, like I'm just not here.
Yeah.
uh, so it's like it's hell on earth for me personally. But I do think that the consistency of being able to have a game of the week, no matter whether it's good or bad, is all that really matters for Madden leagues. And I think more leagues could take a page out of you guys' book and just understand putting your league out there is better than just letting it fizzle out for no freaking reason.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, even if it's I'm 4-5, he's 5-4. Yeah, we're in a hunt, but it's not the premier matchups that we're usually getting. But hey, it's a matchup, and this time of year, you got AC, he's going to DR. You got guys that are renovating their house, and like you say, you got Mother's Day, then Father's Day, and Memorial. Like it's barbecue season. Like I got the grill fired up almost every daggone day. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, but again, we're here. A lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff going on. We definitely appreciate you, brother. And I appreciate you.
And I tell you every time, man. Look, at the end of the day, I don't mind calling games when there's a game to be called. My issue comes when, and it's not a shot at no other league. I pray nobody takes it this way. If they do, it's on them, not me.
Yeah.
I don't care what the game is. I just care about the people being invested and coming to show out for their league. Yeah. It doesn't matter. And y'all know this because, again, we've called multiple Rich games. Rich, I'm sorry. I don't mean no disrespect. Drex be whooping your ass. But at the end of the day, I respect the fact that you are willing to put yourself on the line, on the screen, because at the end of the day, you're going to keep trying no matter what Drex do.
Fact. That's a
One
fact.
day you might beat Drex. You just never know. You never know what can happen, man. That's all.
It's funny, man. Rich has come so close, and it's just like a bonehead throw, or we notice because he keep them linebackers on the field. I'm like,
exactly.
And we're yelling at the screen like, he in 3 wide, 4 wide, get the line. It's touchdown. You know what I'm saying? It's just. Anyway,
it's man. Like why are you putting Michael Strahan and Osi Umenyiora out there when you only need one or the other? You don't need both, man.
Yeah, get some DBs on the field, bro. But yeah, any closing any closing remarks, man, before I get you out of here, man?
First and foremost, I'm grateful for you guys at Leather Helmets, man. The things that y'all have done for me, not only as a content creator and a commentator, but just as a person overall and seeing my growth. I appreciate y'all for that because y'all are giving me a voice in the community to keep talking and keep growing as a person. That cannot be understated. And then, continuing y'all league as y'all do and not letting no naysayers, letting no outsiders dictate how y'all run y'all league. I respect that so much. So I'm gonna always wish prosperity. And then even going into Madden 25 Part 2, because we already got Madden 25 before. It's gonna be real fun, man. It's gonna be real turned up. Hoping we can get 2 game of the week nights going into Madden 25, but I ain't gonna say too much more than that.
Yeah, we ain't gonna jump the gun too soon. But I do like that. And myself, I want to get back into calling games. I do enjoy it. Like the plan was to have you call that early in the week, then I call later in the week. However, vice versa. But yeah, I like that. If it's you calling twice a week or whatever the case may be, but just more and more content, getting it out there so people can see it, people can enjoy it, and the league can continue to support it. So, yeah, man. And with that, guys, that's Snipes. I mean, that's Snipes. Wow. I've been thinking about Snipes. I got DM. That's Scream, and he'll be on the call tonight. Check us out, Night Scream TV, for the game of the week tonight, and it's gonna be great, man. I appreciate you, Snipe. God damn.
It's okay. I ain't bald yet, and my beard ain't gray yet. It's just my hair. My hair is gray though, so it counts for something, right?
Appreciate you, brother.
Of course, man. See y'all soon, LH. See y'all soon.
I fumbled my way all the way through that. Before I get out of here, guys, I'm gonna mention the raffle. It's a $10 raffle. You can do 2 entries. Remember, with a chance to win a copy of the MVP edition of NCAA. That bundle comes with a copy of NCAA 25 and a copy of Madden 25. So hit up Baj, hit up myself if you if you want to get your opportunity to be in that raffle, we will do the raffle next Thursday's show. Hopefully AC can be here for that. I got to look at the schedule, because if he's not going to be here, I'll push it back one more week, because I like him to be here with me when we do the raffle. So everybody, if you want to join in on the raffle, DM me, DM Baj. We'll get you set up. Because at $10, we want you to send them as 2 separate entries, just so we can keep track of who sent them what, and we can attach your raffle to your name. And then we'll do that drawing on June 6th, tentatively, if AC's still not on vacation. So with that, man, I'm going to go get ready for this game that I got to play and see when we're going to kick off. I appreciate everybody for sliding through. Undisputed, what's going on? Baj, I appreciate you sliding. And we're going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. And with that, dog, we up out of this joint. I'm a holler.
To prevent fatal injuries in football, I have invented this new type football helmet, which I believe will do much to rid the game of fatalities.